Hello, 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 and welcome back to an episode of the USL Show. We are back with one of our most anticipated, just kind of episodes of the year, and we could not be more excited for it. We're going to go ahead and hop straight into this thing because it's going to take a long time, but we have some other stuff to take care of. Ryan, how are you, man?
Yeah, doing well. I'm not happy that a certain football management game isn't coming out this year, but I guess if someone makes a USL mod for Civilization 7 with Bob Lilly as a potential world leader to choose, it will be just like Football Manager.
Identical. John, how are you?
Man, that took me out. I am doing well. I'm happy to be here. I love doing this episode. So yeah, hyped.
Honestly, I can't wait for the end. And it's not because I'm ready for this podcast to be over, but I have Super Bowl halftime show takes. So I'm ready to get into it in probably about an hour and 20 minutes because that's how long this tier list normally takes. So we're going to have some special guests hopping in and another person that we normally know hopping in later. Spoilers, it's probably going to be Phil. You know, when you have a child and all, it sometimes you don't always get here on time. Totally understandable if we're being honest. But as we always do, we want to thank Ryan Smelter, Matt Catpill, Timothy Meadows, Andrew Towsley, all of the Hedgehog, Kunal Patel, MOS, NFresh 30, Tim Knox, Rian Lacara, Stephen Howard, Jeremy Churchman, Alberto Aguilar, Noah Telford, Michael Fuchs, Joshua Duder, John Fuller, Christopher Cohn, Frank Anthony, John Hunt, and Harry Austin. Thank you so much for supporting us. Thank you so much. And we cannot do this without you. At the very end of this episode, stick around. We'll let you know what our away day is going to be this year. And we are so excited to share that with y'all. So we have two bits of news that we want to get into before we get into the tier list. First things first, we had some division realignment happening in League Two and W League. Friends across the lower league sphere were pretty excited about this one, especially. And listen, let me go ahead and tell you, the Southern Division, the Southern Central, has like 10 teams in it, and it's going to just be insane. From what I saw, League Two has gained 18 different teams. So they gained 30, lost 12, math, 18 total. For W League, I'll be honest, I'm not sure, but it seems like the USLW League kind of leaked early that USL Knoxville is getting a W League club, and we'll talk about Knoxville later with their crest, of course. But we're super excited for that. Any kind of just realignment thoughts for you fellas?
Less realignment, more kind of the surprise of the news we got out of Fort Lauderdale United today, like joining the W League, joining League Two. Kind of the heat is that they're going to be joining League One down the line if they can pull that off. Kind of interesting to see a team that went Super League first continue to do that. But more broadly, like seeing these competitions continue to grow, continue to give younger, more developing players those opportunities to shine and kind of fit in with the pipeline, right? Like we've seen a number of League Two players make the jump to the pro ranks this season. Expanding that entire apparatus is good for the league and good for everything from bottom to top. So yeah, great stuff.
And as usual, they always keep the regionality for everything. And to go back to your point, Kaylor, it was a plus 13 net for W League in terms of teams joining and leaving as well. I guess in terms of more specifically on where teams are in certain divisions, I'm a little disappointed that Asheville has to be the odd Carolina team out of everything else, just given that there are a few other teams within the Carolinas, Wake FC, Charlotte Eagles, that would be nearby. But overall, they always tend to get a lot of these divisions pretty spot on.
Anything, Phil?
No, sorry for being late. I love you know that I love a little League Deux. So yeah, just excited for my boys and girls out in River Lights to do the business this year.
By the way, River Lights head coach went down to Des Moines, to the Des Moines Menace, and that's kind of huge because River Light were really, really good last year, and I think that's a kind of a space to keep your eye on because if you're a coach for Des Moines, you're probably going to get a chance at coaching professional if you stick with the track long enough. So that's going to be an interesting space to watch. let's go to the Super League, where we did kick off the spring season, where we had a Florida Derby. I don't even know if they call it that. We're just going to call it that as the neutrals, of course.
I think
And
that's the name. Yeah,
do they call it that? Okay.
I think so.
I don't know. Where we had just a really, really fun match where Fort Lauderdale was up 2-0, and you are kind of thinking, is this about just to be an absolute blowout? Where we saw the best Amid get onto the score sheet down in Florida. Bill Hamid sides for the Miami FC, of course. But this was a fun one where they were down 2-0 and the Sun battled back to make it 2-2. What are just kind of some thoughts?
This was a game where I think a lot of people looked at the box score and saw like, oh, 2 late goals for Tampa Bay. Kind of felt like they were getting lucky with the way it went down at the end. By the XG, they won multiple times over. They dominated the game offensively. I thought that the way that Mies Schulte-Brown kind of rejiggered those tactics coming out of the winter break was quite impressive. You often saw the Sun attacking in almost more of a 3-2-5 with Jordan Zaid, who stole the headlines because of that front flip throw in, back flip throw in. I don't know the difference.
Front flip.
Okay. But yeah, she was tearing up that right wing, like getting back, doing what she needed to do defensively in the back four, and then playing like an out-and-out winger when she needed to in the offensive end. So loved that. Fort Lauderdale, when they were strong at the end of the first half of the season, very much was adopting this kind of boxy midfield, running it through Addie McCain whenever they could at that kind of 10-ish, number 9-ish combo spot. She felt disconnected. This felt like much more of a traditional 4-2-3-1. Obviously, you still got what you wanted from Shania Gordon and Jasmine Hamid. Overall, kind of lacked the flow you want to see. Hopefully, that's just kind of rubbing off the rust from the winter break. But yeah, I thought Tampa Bay was impressive, even if they only came away with the draw.
It was, moment of brilliance, obviously, from Jasmine Hamid, like unbelievable goal. But like you said, John, maybe a little bit reliant on those moments versus Tampa Bay, who looked a little bit more consistent in like the application of pressure and being able to make teams uncomfortable, which is a continuation from what we saw in the first half of the season.
And crucially for Tampa Bay, they make it a 7-point gap above DC Power right now. So still that top 5 in the league, kind of separating themselves from the current bottom 3.
I think for me, the biggest thing that I kind of saw with this match was I was a little bit I was almost a bit surprised that Fort Lauderdale didn't get one at the end, because you bring on Bockham, you bring in Knox at the very end, and you can kind of argue that maybe you left Bockham for a little too late. But even then, like, it kind of felt like they had another goal coming, and it just never did. That Sun defense is still legit. They did have my personal defender of the first half with Hendricks. Like, they are so solid that they come out of the break and you're like, what happened? And then they figured it out. And so I think for both teams, you walk away happy and mad at the same time. Where if you're Fort Lauderdale, it's like, that's 3 points. Why do we walk away with anything but 3 points? It's like, but we do score 2 goals. And our offense looks as good as it did all the first half of the season. And then if you're the Sun, you're like, yeah, we gave up goals early, but our defense figured it out, and we figured out how to score. So we're not broken. And so I think both teams just kind of leave confused, but kind of just neutral, like, yep, it happened.
Yeah, and I mean, some interesting lineup choices on both sides. Like, I think 4 new players debuting in the starting lineups in total. You mentioned Bockham coming off the bench. We didn't really cover that move over the offseason, but a massive one. Like, she came in with a huge track record. The goals didn't quite come in the way you would have wanted for DC, but to get her into Fort Lauderdale gives that team a completely different sort of player at the 9 spot, but obviously one with a lot of potential. And then Tampa Bay, like, Zaid makes the debut and impresses. I thought it was an interesting call to go with Hawksdaughter in the pivot rather than kind of sticking with what had worked with Jordan Listro and Jade Moore. So just kind of lots of interesting things to keep note of stylistically as we move on into the spring more.
And unless anybody has anything else they want to talk about from this match, anything that's really pressing for us?
Well, shout out to our boy Mike Pendleton, who got a nice long
yeah.
shot on the broadcast.
Oh yeah, that was awesome. That was fun.
Yeah.
All they needed to do on that for the production team in the future is put Baker Street over the top of it.
Yeah, fun stuff. The reason we're kind of going fast, and normally we would have more to break down. First off, there's only one match. And then this upcoming week, we have 2 matches, which is exciting. We're not going to talk about preseason matches because, believe it or not, people, the preseason matches do not matter. You got a big win against the MLS team. They were probably playing the kids or trying something new. And if your team got beat by a semi-pro team or if the college team played you a little too hard, it's okay because you were trying stuff out and you had trialists. None of it matters. None of it matters.
I do want to shout out Pedro Dolabella, who scored against Tim Ream. I think that
mattered.
So,
that mattered.
Yeah.
No, that Pedro Dolabella matters. That's the whole story. I mean, all that aside, El Paso Locomotive's big win over Barca Residency Academy. Obviously, that's like, is that not headline news or?
It's actually child abuse in most states.
Yeah.
Well, for the reason that you all are here, it is tier list time. The thing that we have not done, and I thought about this, we had not done this episode. Now, we have posted the tier list every year, but we have not done this episode since I was still in college. It has been 3 years since we've done this.
Me too, man. Me too. Jeez.
Yeah. To think our graduation was 3 long years ago.
Yeah, insane. Bill had no children. Ryan was like, I don't know, 17 apartments ago, possibly. You know, it is what it is. I remember posting the tier list, and it was just like water, and then just page flooded. And we're like, why don't we just do a show about this? And now it's become the thing we do every year. And this is the updated version, which is, of course, when we bring in Star of, we're one of the stars. We have 2 stars from Kit season, Mr. Philip Fox. Phil, how you doing, man?
Doing fantastic, guys. And yeah, I appreciate actually learning stuff about the actual game of soccer and not just the kids. No, I'm glad to be here.
I got to ask you a question right off the bat here, and apologies for the podcast only, but are you rocking the Red Panda kit? Do I have that right?
Yeah, I'm rocking the Red Panda kit.
There we go. Yeah, one Knox fans, we love it.
That's it. The only issue is the sleeve, but if I can just wipe the UT off as a Kentucky fan. But otherwise, this is a perfect 5 on my ratings.
Honestly, we'll move on after this. The Tennessee on the side of it is the only reason I refuse to buy a one Knox. I just can't make myself do it. So
our SEC folks are built different.
I was gonna say.
So let's go ahead and get into the tier list. Obviously, this is more aesthetic if you are watching this online. So if you are a podcast only person, you want to see the tier list, this is going to be its own standalone YouTube video. So go find the YouTube video. It's there. If you're in the chat, I have already posted this into the chat, but go ahead and fill yours out if you have not and tag us in it. If you have not tagged or if you have not posted yours yet, it is here. So we have our top to bottom. And if you are not clear on how a tier list works, the very top is not your A tier. However, it is the S tier. Someone could tell me why. Someone's like superior, supreme, whatever. You can give me a reason. Just know that in the tier list world, S is the best. F is, of course, the bottom. And it goes S, A, B, C, D, F. Where I'm going to tell you people, if your club is in the B ranking about quote unquote average, honestly, if we compare it to other American soccer crests like MLS crest or some of the semi-pro crests, you're probably close to A to S in those leagues. The USL is pretty stacked in crest. So just because yours is average in the USL does not mean that it's average overall. There's some really good ones out there. So with that,
No, if it's average, it's average, and you just need to take that L. No, I'm just, this is Legion Cope, Kaler. This is just Legion Cope.
I put them in like C, man.
I know where they belong.
Yeah.
That's right. Listen, official stance of the USL show: Mountains good.
Yep.
We've been over this, so
Yep.
this is an established rule. Mountains good. This does not, however, apply
And
to
hey,
the
we have
Chattanooga
we have a
Rebels.
new entrant to Club Mountains, which we will get to.
Yes, we do. So let's go ahead and start off with a couple of S tiers where we have seen each other's tier list at this point, where most of us seem to have a somewhat decent consensus cross looking, where I think I'm pretty comfortable in saying that the Oakland Roots can go S tier. Is anybody against Oakland Roots in S?
Easy peasy.
Yeah,
I think
Okay.
Oakland might have the best crest in American soccer.
I think like in terms of instantly identifiable and a roundel that's actually good,
Mhm.
it's like it sets itself apart in many, many ways.
When you get a crest that can just kind of transcend what not just the football club, but then can become like fashion, streetwear, everything else kind of beyond that, which we'll mention with a few of the other tiers. It not only does its job to represent the football club, it represents the community. It represents just everything that you would want a logo to represent.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, the Oakland Roots, it's a brand, and it
Mm.
markets well. So, I mean, I saw this on like a college football show, and I was like, Oakland Roots, all right. So, it's definitely it's a brand. It's a part of the streets. It's there.
If Marshawn Lynch wears it, it's cool. Like let's be so real.
So we already talked about it a little bit pre-show, and this is where we're going to have some fun conversation. One that was A to S for a lot of people, but not everybody, was Detroit City. Where do we feel with Detroit City? Because a lot of people put them S, but we have one person who disagrees. How do we feel here?
I
So-
was the guy who disagreed.
Go for it.
So I'll get mine, and then y'all can throw me down. It's too jagged to me. I can't like if it was in a circle, if it was like the Lexington, if it was in the badge, I'd be more okay with it. I like the idea of using the statue, but if it's not inside of its badge, it throws me off too much. Because it's just I don't know. It's
I'm
just
with you in terms of like using the crest for other purposes other than
Yeah.
just like being on a logo. Like I think that matters. There's something about this Detroit logo that so encapsulates the city and is so unique. It's got an almost like sense of being iconic to it in a way that elevates it to S for me personally. But I understand the argument against it.
It's funny that your argument against it is exactly why I love it, which is like, and this will become clear throughout my tier list, but any shape that like breaks convention to me is more interesting. Like as a like larger rule, I think it's instantly recognized, like it's instantly recognizable as Detroit City FC. It is something from Detroit. It's not like some kind of mascot or something like that. It is truly just the city. And for me, the rouge and gold now is like straight up iconic as Detroit City. So yeah, for me, this is S, but
we're sure it's not too smoky or dark.
Yeah, Michigan Stars are F.
yeah, that might be. You said Oakland Roots might have the best crest in American soccer. Michigan Stars might have the worst.
So, are we comfortable? I know Fox is the different one out, but we do kind of go majority rules here.
I understand.
Who are we? Are we
Got a 4 out
good
of
with
5.
S?
Yeah.
We go with this. Okay. So then we start getting into the differences. So I'm going to start going alphabetical order. at this point, and we are just going to say what we gave the crest. Okay. So if S through F, tell us what you put on yours, and we can get into conversation if it starts to get very wide. So we are going to start off with AV Alta, where I'm going to have to quickly find my own. But I put AV Alta down pretty low. I do believe where I had them in C tier. Well, how about the rest of y'all?
Yeah, somewhere anywhere between B and D, honestly. Like, I can see the argument. It doesn't feel distinctive, even if I like the colors of it. So maybe a C.
Yeah, I gave it C tier as well. It's kind of generic. Like if someone said you have 10 minutes to draw us a logo and they came up with this, and it's like, it's a good attempt, but just C.
I had this in D. The only thing keeping it from being an F is the color scheme that I really like. Yeah. The fact that AV is on the crest twice is insane to me. Like AV Alta AV is nuts. That should never have happened, and anyone who approved that needs a stern talking to.
I think I'm changing my vote to D because that's very convincing.
Okay, I'll change mine.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to be intimidating.
But you did such a good job, because I give it an A, and now I'm looking at it, I'm like, oh god, they're all right. Because I like it's a clean crest. I like the color scheme, but I 100% agree with everything you all just said. So my A, I'll give it a C now. My A went down to a C.
So we had 3 Ds and 2 Cs, so that makes it a D. So next up, Brooklyn, which Brooklyn was divisive, where I had to do some real thinking about. And in my first tier list, I put Brooklyn in B because it is a B. So I was like, yeah, that just makes sense. But then I kind of thought about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's pretty good. But other people have it up there, way up there. So for me, it's a B. John, what say you?
I went B as well. Like, I think the Brooklyn Bridge iconography is iconic immediately. The B, the way it's integrated is very pretty. It makes sense that it's kind of that slate gray. Do I wish it had a bit more pop? Sure, but the B is nice.
I think that's pretty fair. I was more on the A side just because I felt like it had the potential of like an Oakland to kind of transcend the football club and just become that like style of Brooklyn FC. But in the end, it is just the B. So I think where it is probably fine.
I could have been persuaded into an A. I love the unique shape. I love the fact that it is distinctly New York, but similar to what you said, John, I think it does kind of lock them in design wise to 2 colors. So I do think that it didn't leave them a ton of flexibility, and there's probably left a little bit on the table in terms of the boldness of it going with the gray.
Yeah, and I give it an A. I enjoyed the Brooklyn Bridge, symbolism with it. I like the color scheme. It is that kind of New York, Brooklyn gray, which is the whole city. I know there's the culture of the people, but when you see the city, it is a gray city with all the buildings. So I gave it an A. And it's a good hat logo. If we're going like baseball hat style, it's a good hat.
Very good hat. Very good hat logo for sure.
It feels like a really good secondary logo that like supports something a little bit more, I don't know, vivacious for your primary.
And maybe they could roll out like a secondary that goes crazy and maybe gets a little bit like more inventive.
They're just going to put a circle around it.
Yeah.
Brooklyn. Oh no.
So we had 2 A's and 3 B's. So that is majority rules for that one. Now, next up, we have the Carolina Ascent, which does 2 things that is going to be divisive to the people. It has mountains, official USL stance, USL show stance, mountains good, but there is a soccer ball, and people hate that. So I personally have it in A tier, mainly because, and this is so dumb, there are no mountains in Charlotte. I think it's so stupid that they put mountains on it when there are no mountains there.
but they're ascending.
Oh.
And is it the Charlotte
Ascending
or the
to where?
Carolina?
I mean, I run up a hill during my runs here in Charlotte, so there's a slight incline in the city.
It's Kate Bush. They're running up that hill.
John, where'd you put him?
I had him in the C. I think there are too many colors going on. I think the design is very nature-y when that doesn't really fit with the city 100%. I like elements of it, but it doesn't really come together.
I put this one actually in an A. I think I was more so persuaded by the fact that I like the kits of the club probably more so than I like the crest. Like, I think the crest is well designed, but it also looks like something you would see like spray painted on the side of an artistic van or something, and it would just fit there. But I personally like it, but I can honestly be convinced of where it would have its kind of detractors.
Now I'm picturing it on the side of a van. I had it in B. I think it is. I really enjoy the color scheme. I think there is just way too much going on. I think it definitely could have benefited from a little bit of editing. And the word mark like Ascent FC just like doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. Like they needed to lean into, if they're going to go this heavy on the design, just lean into that and let the design speak for itself. So yeah, it's a B for me.
Just to make sure, there are mountains in Carolinas, right? Both Carolinas. There's a mountain, right? At least one.
Yeah. Yes.
So, perfect. It's perfect. It's the Carolina Ascent. It's all Carolinas. North, south doesn't matter. So I give it an A.
Yeah.
I enjoy the colors. I can easily agree with what y'all are saying. There is a lot going on, but I like the color scheme. I like how they fit everything in. Like, everything fits well. So
if I'm having this right, we had, if I have this right, we had 2 A's, 2 B's, and 1 C.
Yep.
So we call that a B.
I think that's a B.
Okay.
I am enjoying Ryan's comment in the chat of like inside us there are 2 wolves, AV Alta and Carolina Ascent.
Also, I need to just mention about the Ascent before we move on. The A being a different font, in fact, being basically the MLS Next Pro font, and then everything else is just normal, freaks me out.
They
Carolina's on a
italicized.
curve. Carolina's on a curve. Ascent is italicized with a different A. FC is there, but it's in a different color. It's like pick a lane, guys.
Yeah.
Well, it matches a local business here in Charlotte, Lowe's. The S is a different font than the rest of the word. Look up that logo, and we can do company logos for our next episode.
yeah, cheers.
That's
Raising Cane's S.
Next up, our favorite friends, which, by the way, shout out to Ben Clements for, just congratulations to you on recognition that you absolutely deserve. Here's my issue with the Battery logo. It doesn't come stock with the raccoon. Pedro does not live in there. He does, but he doesn't. I still like it though. I still really, really like it. It's an A. It's an A crest for me.
A for me as well. Perfect blend of heritage with a little bit of modernity, big firm colors. Yeah, solid.
Yeah, it's pretty much an A.
Yeah, it's one of the best rebrands that's ever been done in American soccer. It's an A. And I personally love the amount. I know this doesn't count for anything, but I love the amount that they've done in terms of kit design to play off of what is ultimately a very simple crest, but they've really done a lot in that respect in making the most of it. So yeah.
I'll be honest, I did give it a B. I regret it though. It's very clean. Maybe I was thinking too simple. I was also doing this at like 8 in the morning after being woken up by 2 twin 2-year-olds. So Phil kind of gets it. But I give it a B, but it's an easily A too. It's clean, simple, but still has enough with the battalion battery.
If the cannon's extended outside of the roundel, it's S, but
No,
unfortunately.
it goes. It's a T.
So I think the crescent moon. Now I could be wrong here. I think there's two. I think it is in the South Carolina flag, but I also think that one of the like main forts that were on the like in South Carolina around that area is actually shaped like a crescent moon anyway. So the battery, whatever.
History with Hodges.
Yeah. Next up, the Charlotte Independence. This is where we begin, I think, probably not being as kind. It's there. I can't find mine anywhere. So John, please tell me where yours is because I can't find it on mine.
I had him as a C. There's just something about like you've got the Queen City not up top. You've got a somewhat unique shape to it. Do I love it? No. Do I think it's a little busy? Yes, but it's fine overall.
Yeah, I gave it a C as well. And just for the fact that since Charlotte has launched, they've kept the consistency of having a logo. And for a team that's gone through many different stadiums and different locations here in Charlotte, the fact that they've kept a logo for that entire period and not have tried to reinvent the wheel every time, I would respect. So yeah, I keep it at a C.
I have him as a B primarily because there are, like, when I was grading this on sort of the curve that I was, there are way worse shields that I have in C than the Independence. They at least did something with this. So yeah, I have them in a B. But it's ultimately unspectacular, I guess would be my review.
I also gave a B. I felt like it's fairly clean. I do like the rider at the bottom. I like the Queen City logo at the top. I enjoy it.
And Ryan found it for me. I gave it a D, which I think 2 C's, 2 B's, and 1 D. That makes it a C.
C.
It's a very
All right, people.
college bowl game logo.
Yeah.
I would watch the Charlotte Independence Bowl.
I was gonna say the Charlotte Independence Bowl. Like, isn't that a thing?
When did
There's
we
a
get
Independence Bowl.
sponsored by Lockheed Martin? Wasn't that supposed to happen to us? What happened?
Yeah, we were selling out to defense contractors, weren't we?
I feel like we just need a letter for this one. The Chattanooga Red Wolves. I gave it an F.
When I did my tier rank, I created a new tier for Wolf. So struggling to vote here, but I think an F is agreeable.
F.
See, okay, so I have this as a D. I'm not gonna fight about a D. But against the ones that I have in F, I was like, these are just way worse than. It's not good.
At least it's trying something, and you can't say that about a lot of the F tier.
They tried. Yeah, they tried. You tried. Like that's so D for effort.
Yeah, I gave a C. So I'm kind of in that same boat as Phil's argument. I think it's okay. I don't think it's hideous. I think the Wolf could be better. But
I think that bumps us up to a D average because we do love this Wolf.
I'll give it a D. It did give us our alternate logo, so there is that.
Bonus points.
Next up, we have the Colorado Switchbacks, which I do like the actual rebranding that they did. But for me, it's fairly average. I'm going to go C for me personally.
D for me, a little bit bland.
C. It reminds me of the TARDIS, though.
This C, unique shape, which bumps it up, but really, really boring colors and sort of integration and dumbing down almost of their old logo. So
absolutely. It's a downgrade for sure from what they had.
Yeah. I get what they were going for. It just didn't really work in the execution.
Yeah, I gave it a B. I think it's clean. I like the colors a lot. I like their blue and with the black. So I do agree, though. I think it is a downgrade, but It's kind of like what they did with Louisville. They just made it kind of too simple, a little super simple.
Mhm.
What does that give us then? Is that B or C?
We've had a lot of C's. I gave it a D. There was a B. I think we're
I think
right.
it's a C.
Okay.
I think it's
C.
C.
Balance
Okay.
it out.
We should
All right,
we
next-
should be ending. In theory, we should be ending up with the most C's, right? Like that's
Yeah, bell
That's
curve
it's the
here.
bell curve, yeah. The Dallas Trinity. This is where I'm going to just have to be completely honest. I am a sucker for maroon and gold. Give me
Okay.
maroon and gold. I am just a sucker for it. I gave it an A.
I gave it a C because I can't figure out what's going on with that horse. Like it's got some real My Little Pony vibes going on in a way that really was throwing me off. Like, what about that says Dallas to you? Nothing. So
if you zoom out enough, like that horse has like an almost arachnid sort of feel to it. That starts to feel deeply unsettling and like just truly
like does it have a stomach? Like is it pregnant? What's happening with the
It's-
bottom part of that horse?
it's sort of Lovecraftian in a way.
It is.
The horse honestly reminded me of the horse with wings you would see on Mobile One for like motor oils. So maybe that's where they're getting the kind of Dallas idea from. But yeah, I actually gave it an A.
I went C. It's a roundel. It's not really doing anything interesting. It's got like the words of the club. Just Dallas Trinity is most of the badge, so it's like, yep, that is correct. So they get a C.
It also says FC.
Yeah.
I just feel like I am obviously not in tune with everybody. I gave this an S. I absolutely
Wow.
love this crest. I can see what you're saying. Like it doesn't yell Dallas, but it is like very Greek to me, and I'm also a sucker for maroon. Shout out to my alma mater, EKU, Eastern
Nice.
Kentucky Maroon. So it's an S for me. But
Also, I looked up just because I was curious with the My Little Pony thing. The vibe you're
it's-
getting
yeah.
is Twilight Sparkle, in case you're wondering. It is the same person. It is the
I
same
pulled
thing.
that, but sure.
You looked that up awfully quick.
I looked up My Little Pony characters and was just trying to find a hit.
There we go.
it was in a recent search. It wasn't hard, you know.
Came right up.
So,
Did you-
okay, we have an S, we have an A, two B's and a C.
That feels right.
2 C's and a B. Yeah, it's probably B.
Yeah.
B. Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Next up, the DC Power. I had a lot of struggle with this one. I was not sure where to put it. I was just kind of confused in the end, and I went C.
The more I look at this, the more I like it. Like the way the Washington Monument fits in. I think it does the Switchbacks colors more cleanly. I landed at a B, but this could be something I reassess next time we do this.
I gave it a D. Not just the name, but the logo just reminded me of like a utility company.
I don't know why I have such an aversion to this. I really hate it. I gave it an F. The biblically accurate angel on it is just like not. It's just not for me. It just really fills me with dread. And honestly, John, the Washington Monument detail, I noticed that right now when you said it. Like, I had no clue that that's what they were going for, and I've been staring at this all day.
I don't get why there are the little like indents in the white part of it. Like, what is that supposed to represent?
Because no, if you remember,
Power.
their
No,
first,
this is silly. Like,
No,
no one
their
with a brain
first-
would look at this.
their first crest, the one they did before this, but the one they had to change before they ever released anything, was just a wing, and they said it was because their like belief into the wing play attack. And we're
I know,
like,
but I reject that. Like, if you're just a person on the street who comes and look at this logo, this is meaningless other than the Washington Monument. Like, there's just a bunch of patterns and they don't amount to anything. And I still like it, but I don't know.
For some reason, it makes me think of Genova from Final Fantasy VII, and it just unsettles me and makes me upset. So,
Yeah, this one I kind of I was in that same place that Kayla was talking about. I was like, I just don't know how I feel. I think it came down to I like the colors, and it got a B. So, but it's like I do agree. Like the power is coming from the Washington Monument. Is that what's power?
It's some kind of like the obelisk is power.
Yeah, it is the power. So that's what I got from it.
I mean, I think the F tier brings us down to a C on this as an average.
Yeah.
But
I see it, and this is before we move on, which we do need to start going a bit quicker because we are at 40 minutes already, and we are nowhere close. It does remind me. It reminds me of an Overwatch logo.
Yeah,
like, familiar with
exactly.
Overwatch? Like,
This could easily be military.
yeah,
It's like the Space Force.
yeah.
Yeah.
TV show.
Listen, mountains. We like mountains. El Paso has mountains. For me, I put this one way up here. For me, it was an S tier. What say you?
I had it S tier as well. The way they integrate the whatever you call it, part of a train onto that logo. Again, the unique shape, good colors. Yep.
I had it at A, but it was like at the top of my A tiers, so I could be talked into S.
It's S. The like John says, the integration of things. The two things that are crazy about this is number one, it's the best thing about the club right now by a distance, and secondly, the fact that they haven't been able to turn an iconic jersey out of this kit or the crest design is an absolute crime. They've had 6 chances, they've failed every single time, and one of these days they'll get it right. I doubt it's going to be this year.
Railroad sash. I give it a B, but I regret my decisions. It's an S.
All right. We talked about successful rebrands. I mean, I know people loved like the old Roughnecks logo, but the new like the scissor tails, I love the FC Tulsa. For me, it was a B, but it doesn't mean that it's not a great crest.
It's an A for me because I like that it highlights something that people don't know about the city with the Art Deco aspect of it. Like, I think when you can have something that would be immediately meaningful to a local and can teach other people about like what is Tulsa all about, that's cool. Throw in the scissor tail and you've got some real Oklahoma vibes going on.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for Art Deco architecture, so A.
I had this in A as well. I really like that the wings and the tail go outside of the shield. So that's
I give it a C. I don't like that the wings and the tail go outside of the shield. and the gold and the white. Maybe if it was black and the gold pops off, but I feel like the white mutes the gold.
Let's see, 3 A's, a B and a C.
I think that's what makes it an A.
That thing still makes it an A. So let's just A or B. Let's just give it A.
I've got a quick aside to make here. Based on somebody said earlier, like if you're a team like Brooklyn, you can't really use a color outside of the gray and the black. Tulsa this past season really leaned into pink kits, and that seems like it's going to be an ongoing thing. I mean, even the Legion have kind of gone red quite a few times, if I'm remembering correctly. So interesting to see how like teams are expanding beyond what they've given themselves.
All right. This is probably my biggest hot take on all of these. And I say it's a hot take. It's just because I don't have an S. For me, Forward Madison is an A. It has moved up a little bit for me, but Forward Madison for me is an A.
I mean, S for logic that I've said a lot. Unique shape, unique colors. The flamingo is instantly iconic. That's a great logo.
Yeah, S.
I had this in A. You'll notice the 3 clubs at the top are all clubs that I've held press passes for, and that should be a lesson to the rest of the league if you want to get into S tier. So, just so everybody's keeping score.
I give an S. I was actually a part of the consistency this time, so I'm pretty proud of myself.
We have an S. Sorry, I'm with you, Phil, but yeah, S. All right.
Automatic demotion.
Yep. Greenville Triumph. While I love the Greenville Triumph logo, it is one of my favorite favorites, despite me giving it a B tier. It is one of my favorites in the league, but I think if I'm being objective, it is a B.
I think it's quite
Mountain.
poor. I hate the color gradient. I think it's somewhat indistinct. So yeah, dropping it down to a D.
C for the mountains.
Yeah, mountains gets it into C tier. Totally agree. But yeah, otherwise it's rough for me.
Oh man, I thought it was an A. I think it's clean. I mean, this individual picture of it with the star makes it tiny. I don't like that. But the actual badge itself, I enjoy the badge. I think it's clean. I think it's iconic. Like when I see this, I know it's Greenville Triumph. Maybe it's just because I'm in this atmosphere. So if somebody else sees it, I could see them not understanding. But that's an A for me.
I think that still leaves us C overall, I do believe. But if it's good enough for Ronaldinho, it's good enough for me. Moving on to Fort Lauderdale, who was lucky to be a D for me. It is just letters, just lots of letters. That is it.
Like, what's the design and orientation of the FTL supposed to mean? Why is there like an X in the middle of it? I think it's nonsense. I don't like that it's two blues. So yeah, a D.
I gave it an F. This is basically a coaster someone would see at a resort in Fort Lauderdale that they made a soccer crest out of.
I I feel like I had like crest blindness because this is I put it in C, but I couldn't tell you why. Like it's just it just went there, and I think it speaks to everything that everyone's just said. So happy with whatever grade is given.
I gave it a B. What is wrong with
There is a certain appeal to the color. Like
there's like a Pan Am sort of feel to it. It feels like it's old school, kind of. For I don't know.
Yeah, like I enjoy this crest, and I honestly I can't sit there and argue it. I don't have an argument, but I like it. I feel like it would look good, like just as a T-shirt. So, but I also agree with what Ryan would say. Like this is clearly a coaster. Like so, but it's a nice looking coaster. So I give it a B, but I am A-okay if it's
coaster tier rankings.
We have I want to just kind of tell the people who aren't in the live chat, we had like 5 Fs in a row. I feel like we got to listen to the people a little bit. Are we good with keeping it E or F? Let's go F.
Okay with it.
F.
Take it
Alright.
F. Take it
Yeah.
F.
I'm not going to fight for Fort Lauderdale United. That's not where my allegiances lie.
Next up, Hartford Athletic, which we have a lot of Rhode Island fans in the chat right now, so we kind of know where their head is at. For me, it was a D.
D as well, just very bland.
B, but would look better as a hockey club.
And better if it was a whale also, if we're doing that.
I could have swore I put Hartford somewhere in here. Can't even see
them
it.
as a
I'm
C.
pretty sure it's a C. So yeah, it's a C. There it is. See, again, crest blindness. It's nothing to me.
I also said B because it is a really good Whalers logo.
That pushes us up, yeah.
That's a C. All right.
F plus.
Where
I
we
just
have
want to
next-
say this is not a fake star. I think if the star is within the logo, you're not like it's not false valor or whatever.
You're not-
Like, you're allowed to do that.
Stolen valor.
It's not stolen valor.
That's so funny.
Where would you lie on the Minnesota United logo, which has a star, but they don't have a shield around the logo? So the star is technically part of it, but
I think Minnesota United is an S tier
Northern
crest if we're doing that.
yeah.
Yeah.
NASL. crest.
Next up,
There we go.
yeah. Where we have the Indy 11. I mean, I love the just local ties to it. I like all the local stuff. That said, for me, it's a B, but that's not because I don't like it. For me, it's pretty good. It does everything pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm coming in with the bias here, but Lady Victory in there, the racing flag pattern that you get in the back of it, I like the shape. It's an S tier for me.
S tier for me as well. It's like Detroit, you have a statue with it, and randomly I saw someone wearing an Indy 11 shirt around Charlotte this past Sunday. So
Nice.
I have it in B. The arm is extending outside of the inside of the crest, but not all the way out of the crest, and that for me just knocks it down a couple of notches.
To piggyback off that, the Lady Victory is inside the crest. And this is what Detroit should have done. It's an A for me.
Okay.
Like if Detroit's looked like this, like was a part of it, Detroit would feel more confident for me.
All right, I think that leaves us with A. Next up, we do have Las Vegas Lights, where I know a lot of people love it. I just don't. It's not I hate it, but for me, it's a C. I know people like the colors, but honestly, the colors are not a lot there. They are there, but it's not like it's super colorful like 901 was. For me, 901 was what I wanted Las Vegas Lights to be.
I got to tell you, this is an S tier for me. I think it screams Las Vegas. You don't see it in the picture we're showing, but you've got the blue, yellow, and pink in there. The way that they do the LVFC with that kind of like neon light aesthetic, everything about it is killer.
yeah, I gave this one an A tier. As the owner of Las Vegas away shorts and someone who's been in the luxury suites at a Las Vegas Lights game, I have very fond memories of this crest and team. So A.
I went B, like unique shape. I think like for me, the ones I put ahead of it are just stronger. It's not a knock on this crest. I love this crest. I think it's really great. And like a quiet word for I would have lost a lot of money if saying that Memphis would go under before Vegas. Like,
Yeah, right.
that's crazy. Anyways,
Because you've
sorry.
gotten odds on
baseball
that
money.
in Las Vegas.
Probably.
Vegas is a B for me. I think it's a solid, and it says Vegas without saying. I mean, it says Vegas too, but it screams Vegas to me. And I also have a lot of pairs of shorts from them for they had a $2.50 sale. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna buy as many shorts as I can.
You
So-
two were the people who bought them out of discount shorts.
Yeah,
Hey, I just need 10 more. I can start my own Las Vegas Lights team.
So does that leave us A?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come
Next
on.
up, Birmingham Legion, where I put them in C. I like it except for honestly the clip art hammer. I love the anvil. I love the sparks. I think it's nice, but it's a clip art hammer and I can't unsee it and it makes me mad. So I put it C.
I mean, I think it is a, like derivative of the kind of classic like ironworks based British clubs, but in a way that's a little bit modern. I quite like it, but I think it is a C just because there's something generic about it.
D tier because it looks like a rejected Microsoft Office logo.
I had it C. The only thing that bothers me about these crests is when it says the nickname of the club and not the city. Like there is something about that just feels a little bit weird. But yeah, it's fine. There are definitely worse shields in the league.
I give it this an A. I feel like it's kind of iconic. I recognize this anywhere. I enjoyed the three sparks. I'm okay with the hammer. I see what you're saying now. Never clicked with me. Next time we do this, it might click with me. I'm like, B. But right now it's an A for me.
What does that make at B or C?
I think,
B.
yeah, I think we
Probably
might-
low B. Probably low B.
Yeah,
B minus.
yeah. Okay. All right. Next up, the Lexington SC. I gave it a C, but I hate it. I'll be honest. I hate this crest because it is just the Ferrari logo. They took the Ferrari logo dead on and said, we'll change some colors and put
Phil.
Lexington on there.
Fill
Also-
color green. Like
Not a sporting club. Sporting club implies they have more than one sport. There's only one. That is just a personal beef.
Yet.
But
They
I
should-
have it a C.
Yeah, buddy,
should
not a name rank.
they should dunk on you by starting like a water polo team this year.
I have them C as well. I don't like the font for the word Lexington. I'm on the record not a fan of kind of this two of the same color sort of look. I like the horse and I get the connection, but yeah, C.
This is a 3 green color.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that
it's
less. Yeah.
it's the logo you'd get out of unlicensed football video games. See,
Yeah, just too generic. C for me too.
It's an S. I'm born and raised Kentucky bred, and that is a rolling hills of green grass, Kentucky. Love it. It's an S.
So,
Kentucky
What's
Fried
that?
Crust.
Yep.
I think that makes it a B. I think that officially makes it a B. All right. Next up, Louisville City, where I'm going to dock them points personally because their old crest was so much better.
Yeah.
I'm sorry you had to change your logo because Adidas couldn't make gold right, but you can go back now. You can fix what you've wronged. For me, it's a D.
I don't think they can go back because of the same issues.
It's fine.
Yeah, they're a B for me. I mean, I get if you look at this and you're like, yo, dog, you like the fleur de lis, but there's something about it that's pretty iconic to me. So
yeah, I'm with Kaylor. I liked the old logo better. It's still not their four-sided triangle, as Orange and Black Soccer Cast says in chats, but C is fine.
See, that's what I have it in B because for the same reason, Kaylor, because it's like their old logo, it's definitely a downgrade, but from the next logo, it's a huge upgrade. So therefore, it ends up in B.
Yeah, it's I'm going to be 100%. I'm a Louisville City fan. It's an A, but I'm also born and raised in Louisville. It has our fleur de lis in it. Like ours are slightly. I'm also live in St. Louis now, and they have different fleur de lis. So it's our fleur de lis.
Are
So
there other French municipalities in the United States for you to move to? Like, if
I'm
you
going
want-
to find it.
Are those the only
New
two,
Orleans.
or are there
All
other?
of Louisiana.
just
True.
loosely Louisiana.
Yeah.
Yeah, just all of Louisiana.
So, okay, that's an A, a B, or two Bs and two Cs. So I think that makes it a B.
yeah.
The two Kentucky teams beside each other, truly beautiful.
I'm okay with. Yes, I am okay with Louisville and
That
Lexington
purple
being
and
together.
green is going to be the most cursed kit matchup.
Yeah.
Like,
Awful.
that's going to be psychotic. Like, what is going on?
Next up, we have Loudoun United, who I love it. I do love it. After it was kind of pointed out to me that it was also a chess piece, I do love it. It is for me a B because I think the ones above them are so good, but I do love it.
I mean, they're playing soccer, not chess. I just want to throw that out there. I don't
They're
get the
sporting
pinwheel
club.
kind of thing they've got going on. I don't think the horse is meaningful locally. Like, there's no connection. I think it's kind of just straight up ugly. So that's a D.
I gave it a C, and if Kaylor, you're having problems with not having a sporting club, they could start the chess team and then be a new multi-sport organization in USL.
I have this in C as well. It got knocked down. It got knocked down a bit just because of no connection. It feels like the DC United just like holdover, and I wish when they went like fully independent,
Yes,
they would have
yes.
rebranded.
Oh man, we just do not like the Pegasus in this chat. Apparently, this is an A for me. I enjoyed the Pegasus. I enjoy the pinwheel. I like the colors. It's an A.
Taylor, did you eat your cat?
Not very. Not. This is not a Premier League footballer situation. I lightly tossed him down to the side.
Just needed some clarification there.
Peter, that happened at the 59-minute, 30-second mark.
Clip it.
He'll come back eventually. He's fine. Next up, Mr. Worldwide, the Miami FC.
It's not a soccer ball.
It's the world, man.
Yes.
The Miami is the world, but it's a D for me.
That's friendly of you. This is an F for me. I think this could be any team in America. Like you could put any city and it would work.
In the world.
Terrible crest. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave it a D solely because I, for some reason, own a Miami FC flag and crest and kits. So D.
Well, yeah, their stuff's been on clearance for like 5 years now.
I remember buying this kit and they gave me the flag for free.
See, that's the
How
type
much
of
was
deals.
shipping?
Right.
$40 to ship it.
Yeah, Tide Pod FC. It's an F.
Mhm.
Tide Pod FC. Yeah, I give it a D, and I think I'm being nice because I do enjoy their kits a lot more.
What's
But-
weird is it's probably one of the few clubs in American soccer that I think straight up does not use the actual colors in their crest. Like if you did like the actual codes of these Miami, like I don't think they've had a single kit that's
if
these
you
colors.
look
Yeah, it's that teal,
The
that light
little
blue.
stripe. Like look at the soccer ball globe. There's a little blue stripe.
There is.
That's what they use for their kits.
I
Yeah.
don't believe you.
I was like, because that
It's
purple has
There it is.
never made
There it is.
that purple's never seen the light of day. Like that is crazy.
This is like the Da Vinci Code of kits.
If you tilt it upside down and put some
Exactly.
lemon juice on it,
National treasure.
All right, so are we okay with F?
I'm
Yeah.
okay with an F. They have
Yeah.
good kits though.
I was told later that I did not update it at one point for the Monterey Bay. They are no longer union, but not like it really mattered if we're being completely honest. To me, it's an easy F tier.
Yeah. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, this is just nothing. So I'm going F.
I gave it a C, but the more I think about it, I'm going to drop it down to a D because it's basically a Control C and Control V of New Mexico United and of like kind of the same vibes of San Antonio as well.
Yeah, when this, I mean, it is straight up like New Mexico United's crest with just the lines turned. It's an F. It's not good. And it's a shame for Monterey Bay supporters, but it's the truth.
I mean, can we do New Mexico United's with this? Because, and actually, you said San Antonio. I literally have all three of these together on my. I do have them as a D, as a C, but I agree. Like, they're all three of them are essentially the same crest, except for San Antonio has a little bit of local with the spur. But it's, I'll drop it down to a D. Them and New Mexico, they're both the exact same
Well,
crest.
why don't we just have them there? We'll just skip over Naples just really fast. Do we want to just go ahead and do New Mexico? Because for the same reasons, I love the people of New Mexico, but the people also made this. It's fairly boring for as fun of an area and fun of a history of like Albuquerque has. It's just boring for me. It's an F.
I've got it as a C. I like that bright yellow. Something about the linearity and the way that they've got the stops is a little bit unique, at least. Having the year in the diamond matters in terms of a point of distinction. It feels a little bit bright in a way that almost no other club in the USL leans into.
Yeah, better than Monterey, but still rather generic. So D for me.
The Zia like design is the only thing that saves it. So I had it in C, and I gave it a little bit extra credit because it gets copied. Like because Monterey Bay is the copy paste of it, it gets boosted
It's
up. a
the
little bit.
original.
Yeah.
I had them together, and I moved Monterey down to D, and so I'm moving that down to D as well.
Okay, so we're going with D. FC Naples. Some people hate it. I don't know. I think it's perfectly adequate. I'm trying to remember where I put it off the top of my head. Someone tells me I put it in with C because that's what it feels like to me. I did, so I have it as C.
I think
So
this
if
is
you
kind
can't
of a
find
war
it, that's an
crime.
issue.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a war crime of a crest. Like, I really do not like it at all. I give it an F. I think it's overcomplicated. the color stripe in the middle is different. The weird banner. There are so many different shapes. I don't like the font. So sorry to the people of Naples, and I'm just wrecking Florida here. But yeah, F.
It may be on brand with because I gave this one a D, and it may be on brand for Florida because this looks like the logo of a retirement community, or it looks like the logo of a publishing house who made a children's book about pirates. So,
How specific?
It's funny because I feel like I've been harsher on some of these. I actually gave this a B. I think the shape of it is really unique, and I get why it is kind of crazy, and I don't know, there was something endearing about it, and how insane it was. The N being this sort of like, I don't know, it's made of fabric or something, and it's being like bent into the N. I don't know, there was something endearing about it. I had it as a B.
I had it as a C, and it's because I agree with every single thing that all of you all said. Everybody was right.
I'm kicking and screaming and dragging this to a C average.
North Carolina, I'm going to give them counts off because Railhawks. I also just think it's fairly inspired. I gave it an F.
D for me, just extremely nondescript.
yeah, I gave this one a C. It could very well be a logo for the tourism board here in North Carolina. So,
Sure.
C. There's nothing really to say about this crest, but it was better than the shields I had down in DNF. So
I give it a D because this is a Texas logo.
that's so true. That's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, Texas, North Carolina.
Yeah.
Next up, we have One Knox, whom when I originally posted this link, I forgot that we did not have them in the original tier list video because they were in League 2 at the time. So I'm sorry for the people of One Knox that were not included at first, but they are here now. They are the Carolina Ascent, but they did everything right. For me, it's an easy A.
Honestly, I didn't rank this when I did it. This is an S tier for me. I think the color pattern that I've criticized almost everywhere else, like they really pull it off. What you mentioned comparatively to the Ascent is completely correct. The word mark and font, brilliant, and the way the O becomes the sun. Everything about this is gorgeous.
Oh, should have been a soccer ball.
yeah, I gave it an A, or like I will at least give it an A. I didn't have it on my original list.
Yeah, I had it in B, but I'm kind of messed up for that because I talked about Ascent, and then, like you said, Knox, this is the better one, so it should be an A.
Yeah, copy and paste what Phil said. I have it in B. I actually have no idea why. I'm literally wearing a jersey. I don't know why I have it in B because it's one of my favorite crests. This is what happens when you're raising toddlers, man.
Yeah. Next up, we have Orange County, where I had them as a D. It is better than the Blues personally, and I think it's supposed to be a surfboard, but like I'm not positive on that. It's an OC with, I think it's a surfboard, but it's a D.
I've never once in my life thought about the surfboard thing.
No.
But it is a D for me as well. It's like somehow busy, but doesn't really say anything at the same time.
It looks like a carrot, but it's at least a unique shape. So C.
That's awesome.
I have it in C as well for those same reasons. Like there's a ton going on and yet nothing, so it's a C.
Yeah, I have it in a D. I don't like it.
It's a crest that has produced some actually pretty cool kits, but like not. It's not a good looking crest. Like it's very odd.
Yeah, the team has great jerseys, but the badge we don't look at when we rank.
Next up, we have Phoenix Rising, whom I'm embarrassed to say the first time I found out that the soccer ball was also a Phoenix at the same time was our last episode. But after I made that realization, I gave it an A. I just really like it. It makes me happy.
I think it's the only good use of a soccer ball on a USL logo, dare I say. It's a B for me, but I like it quite a bit.
Yeah, I actually gave this one an A just because I feel like there's not just the logo, but like the Phoenix coming out of soccer ball could very well easily be a sticker or a car decal. So it could work in a lot of different contexts. So A.
I have it as a C. It's a shield that says the name of the team. The soccer ball design is like, yeah, it's a Phoenix, and it's like, okay, you checked all the boxes, so you get a C.
I gave it a B, and I love the soccer ball Phoenix personally, and they have done a lot of alt crest with just the soccer ball Phoenix, so I like it.
Next up, we have the Pittsburgh Riverhounds, which is honestly just a real classic. Has the paw print, makes me happy. You have a little bit of river. For me, I thought it was an S tier. I love this crest.
Wow, I loved the old Riverhound, which looks like he was like plucked out of a Looney Tune. This to me feels very overdone, even if I quite like the details on their own. So I put this as a C.
I quite like this. I left it as an A, but I do at least see how it would be kind of busy and everything. Like I say, remove the soccer ball, just paw print in the middle, and I feel like it's improved.
They should have committed. They should. I think I have it in C. They should have committed to just the inside badge of just a paw print and a soccer ball as their whole crest. Adding the roundel with all the words and everything is coward's work, unfortunately. So C for coward.
I also went with C. I felt like they tried way too hard to be like classic EFL type badge, and I don't like the little river at the bottom, honestly. It's too busy inside of the circle, and I usually am okay with circle badges. Yeah, I think they try too hard.
If you like busy, you'll love the Portland Hearts. Like Hearts of Pine. It is a lot. I gave it an S. I know a lot of people did, but John, you have different feelings.
I like it. Like it's still very much a B for me. There's definitely too much going on. This feels like something that you would see at like a New England kind of like upscale souvenir shop for some reason. It's got an almost kind of Vineyard Vinesy aesthetic to me in a way. I respect it. I get it, but it's a B.
Yeah, I'll meet in the middle and say it's an A.
Yeah, I gave this an A. I think there's something just unique about this that I really like. It spoke to me in a Portlandy sort of way.
And I give it a B. I think it's busy. I like everything that it represents. It's just a lot to represent in one badge.
You're getting John is getting dragged.
I know, man. I was building the people and getting them in my palm, and now they're gone.
No one's had anything to say about any of the insane things that we've said on this show, and then you say Portland is not an S, and it's like you're gone.
I'm here for one show, and they're already kicking me out too.
I look at a crest and I'm like, if I was doing one of those social media videos where I'm having the player try to draw the logo, could they do it? Portland, like, I guess you could, but that's too simplistic. But if you look at it in detail, it's too busy. Like, it's carving between extremes in a way I don't like.
Honestly, that's fair. I can't wait for kids season to talk about their away shirt. We'll talk about that later. It is just white underwear with hearts on it.
Yeah.
And I kind of like it. Anyway, the new, and some people say improved, some people say they hate it, Richmond Kickers. It's an A for me. I really, really like the rebrand. I haven't been able to look at the old Kickers logo without seeing what Gio said, which is, of course, that none of the balls are on target. I think that this is a great improvement. It would be an S if it was through, but I still like it a lot. It's an A for me.
Solid B. Very clean, like the word mark. It's solid.
Yeah, I think upgrade on the old logo while still incorporating some of the stuff that made the old logo just kind of that iconic look. So I gave it an A, actually.
Yeah, I have it in B. I wish they would have tried to keep the shape of the old one. If any of these interlocking letters went outside of the roundel, it would have been an S tier. But
I gave it a B. I don't necessarily feel like it needs the whole like Richmond kickers around the circle. I just like the R and the K interlocking letters, which that is one of their alt logos that they have with it. But it's a solid B for me. It's a good baseball logo, for sure. Which I think somebody comments it.
Next up, we have the chat's going to go crazy because it is Rhode Island FC time. Where I don't know, man. Like it's fine for me. It's a B. Like it's good. I like it a lot, but I don't know. For me, it's just a B.
Rock solid A for me. Love the anchor. You've got the R integrated into it. The shape of the logo itself is good. That kind of somewhere between orange and yellow color they've got going. Everything about it is great to me.
Yeah, I echo John. A.
yeah, awesome way to interlock like the RI with the anchor design. I think it's sick. And the shape of the crest is unique. It's all there. It's an A for me.
I also give it an A. I love the boat shape of the crest and the anchor and everything. I feel like this is a knockout. It's an A.
Next up, we have the Sacramento Republic, which, by the way, this is the old Republic logo. You can tell because the brown is slightly darker than it used to. I don't know. This is technically the old one with the slightly darker tan, but it is still the same logo. I think it's also just fine. Big star. There's a bear. I like bears. It's a B.
Used to be a bigger fan of this. I think the kind of grayscale that they've gone for is a downgrade. The more I look at it, the more I think it's kind of out of proportion with the bear and the star and all that. So a B for me.
Give Sacramento Republic, give me a New California Republic two-headed bear variant of this logo. But until
Then
then,
we're
it's an A.
talking. Yeah, I have it B. It's one of those classic things, but unfortunately, I think since this debuted and has become classic, there's just a lot better crests that have been developed in this league since then.
Yeah, I gave it a C. It's hard for me to look at this and look at all the other ones and feel like I could give it anything higher.
All right, San Antonio. This is my annual. I miss the Scorpions. They are the San Antonio FC, basically the Spurs. I don't love that. It's fine. It's a C.
D for me. I really don't like the Spurs synergy at all. It just feels like a cop out of a logo. So, I mean, it's fine enough color-wise. There's some fun to the way they do the striping, but man.
Yeah, D, because I think this is the only logo in North American sports that references another sports team's logo in their own. So,
yeah, I had it at C. Like, I think it's a well done logo, but taking into account the fact, the Spurs connection, it is lame. So I mean, I'm happy for you to put San Antonio as low as y'all want. I'm good with that.
I also gave it a C, and again, it was right next to Monterey and New Mexico because I feel like all three are very similar. But this does give a little shout out to the actual city. So I'll stick it out as a C, but I am not going to argue against it, whatever you want to throw it down as.
Sounds like a D to me.
Yeah. Next up, we have the Spokane Velocity, which you can't see the Spokane because it's
not on the badge.
Because it's in black for some reason.
It is in black and it doesn't work. It was an F.
I think it's an atrocity. Like, this is the worst logo in the USL. As somebody who tries to like make graphics using the logos in Tableau, trying to get this thing to a point where it's like visible with the problem we're having, total pain. The negative space or lack thereof, like everything about it is an offense to crest design.
yeah, this is an F. It doesn't scream soccer club. This is an investment bank's logo.
Yeah.
I had it as a D. It's just like just squeaked out ahead of the ones I have in F, but it's not good. And you guys know that I love people going from shape convention. This is a miss, a very, very big miss in that regard.
It's because there's no shape. There's 4 shapes or 1 shape in 4 sizes, but there's no like thing that keeps it together. So yeah, this is an F.
I am really what keeps the Zephyr together anyway. It's just a vibe, man.
Yeah, you're not wrong, and this is a bad vibe.
Well, wait, no, they're the Velocity. Crap. The Zephyr makes actually more sense. Anyway, speaking of the Zephyr, they are next. It's the same logo on its side, but now it's a Z because Zephyr. I thought it was slightly better than this. Velocity.
It's not the same logo because it has a shape, and it's like it's making a Z, which actually makes sense. I mean, I think we could beef with the fact that Spokane is just like choosing vague concepts of speed and wind for their names. But yeah, this is a D.
I gave this a D because it's basically what if the FC Tulsa logo, but the like Pokemon Generation 1 evolution of it, with Tulsa being the clear upgrade.
Yeah, it's I had it in D as well. It just isn't it isn't interesting.
Yeah, it's an F for me. It's the same as the other one, like you said, but it's in gold, which now they're back in blue, I think. So we'll figure out in a couple weeks what other fun colors they want to be.
Next up is the Tampa Bay Rowdies, which is a weird one because technically the Mustache Man is the badge, but all their kits have this logo on it. So like I kind of make it this like watermark or whatever it's actually called. That's kind of the crest because that's what they put on the jerseys. I didn't know what to put with it. I didn't know what to call it. I gave it a C because again, I was confused.
The reaction online is very negative to Tampa Bay. I love this one. Like, it's a classic to me. And I know it's different from what they had in the NASL, and people have like beef with the Stars for dumb reasons, but it's a B.
I gave it a B, just NASL heritage of it, just a long time crest for the team.
I love this. I love this crest unapologetically. This is an A for me. I think like the old school word mark is immediately recognizable as Tampa Bay. And the Mustache Man, this looks like a sign like promoting the Mustache Man's like carnival attraction or whatever. It's awesome. I love this.
This is an F for me. Like I appreciate the history behind it, but give me the Mustache Man any day over this because it's not a badge, it's not a crest, it's words.
I will say on the league website, the Mustache Man is their logo. So I don't know what to do with that.
Free your minds from what you believe crest can be, you know.
It's not this.
So we had an F.
I can't believe you're putting that at the same level as Spokane. That's insane to me. That's wild.
It's just letters, and that's just lines.
Letters are just lines when you really think about it.
So what does that make? What does that make this? Does that make this a C because F and then some A or some A's and B's?
S.
What does that make?
No, it was an A, a B,
yeah, A, 2 B's. Like, it's enough that I think B is accurate.
Okay, that is fine with me. The Tampa Bay Sun, I love the Tampa Bay Sun logo. It's an easy A. For me, I think the only miss is that with the art style, that they're called the sun and not the soul. I think that's their only miss. Personally, I love it. It's an A for me.
Disagree on the name and love it also. It's a B for me.
I give this one an A because I could just picture like having this as like a gladiator shield, and I think it's a roundel that's well done.
I had this as a C. I just found like I find the design like to be a little bit generic. Like I don't know, like it doesn't scream anything like in particular to me. And you know, like a roundel, like I said, there's only 3 round kits that I had above like B or higher. and this just doesn't clear the bar for me.
Yeah, I give it an A. It's clean cut. I like the Aztec kind of look. Now I do question, does Tampa Bay have any type of history with that? But like it, doesn't necessarily scream Tampa Bay, so I could see somebody arguing lower against that. But I enjoyed this badge.
I guess another A. Would that make it A?
Sure.
Sure. Yeah. Texoma. 2 birds because they're Texas and Oklahoma.
And a ball.
And a ball. For me, it was a B. I like birds. I think birds are cool, but it's fairly meh for me.
This is another one where, like, the more I look at it, the more I think it kind of rules. So it's a B for now, but I'm really a fan of, like, 2 birds kind of just standing there by a soccer ball. Like, I think that's a dope idea.
I gave this one a B, but the way the birds' heads are turned, it's like they were at the soccer ball, but then someone called each of the birds' name. And they were like, "Hey, did you say something?" And then moved away. So I've given it a B.
I had this in a C. It reminds me of a couple of like lower league crests that I've seen through the years that just like it just struck me as like I think in particular like Temecula FC. I know that's a shout out for the UPSL fans out there from back in the day. But it just reminded me of those and so it felt more generic. So I have it in C.
I have it in D, honestly. I felt like they tried to go kind of Norwich style, but make it very modern. And I don't know, it didn't hit.
All right. We're going to stick with the bird train and careful because Bolt is always watching the Albi. There's only one Albus on here, but it's South Georgia.
Ibis.
What was I saying?
Albus.
That's tough.
Albus Dumbledore.
Yeah. This crest has no Dumbledores on it, unfortunately.
No, that's an easy A tier if it did. Ibis
Wizard, the first wizard that goes on a crest. Mountains, wizards, and wolves.
We're a big fan of the Washington Wizards, I guess.
Yeah.
For me, it was a B tier. I like the colors. It makes me happy.
Yeah, big old bird, good colors. That's a B.
Yeah, B for Bolt, and then Kaler's obviously given the Bolt the Albus Dumbledore Halloween costume idea for October.
That's insane. I had it in C, but like high C. So I mean, I'm good with a B. I think it's a unique shield, so I do enjoy it.
Yeah, I had it in D. I felt like it was a little busy, but like I disagree with me. So yeah, I would say it's a C plus.
All right. So
I'm okay with it.
B? Yeah. Okay. Union Omaha. This is where I'm going to get the hate from the chat. I think that this is a B as well. I don't love it like other people do.
Oh, B is moderate. That's fine.
I thought you were going to say F. That's the way you were teeing that up. I was like...
No, when I first saw it, I was kind of on a C. I don't know, man. I just don't think it's as amazing as a lot of people say it is.
This is like the closest an A can get without jumping up to an S for me. I think the shape is unique. The owl is amazing. The eyes of the owl with that kind of, I don't even know what you call it, highlighted greenish yellow is awesome. This is one of the better crests we've got out there in the USL.
Given who my favorite English football club is, I do like birds standing on footballs as a logo, so I've put it up as an A.
I love this crest too. This is an A for me. You also notice that the tail and the soccer ball sort of go outside. So you knew that this was going to be up there for me.
Yeah, it's a C for me, dog. I've been waiting to say that the whole time. I don't know. It doesn't hit. I agree. Like their kits hit. This badge doesn't hit for me. It just doesn't feel correct.
Finally, Westchester. It's their bridge. I think that's fun. I think the W being the bridge is fun.
Do you know it starts
Not
with
enough.
fun?
Not enough to get out of D tier, but it's fun.
And the bridge, are they saying it's a Tappan Zee? What are they?
They are. Yes, exactly.
Like, kind of. I mean, if you like squint,
If you squint,
hard and
yeah.
like look really fast,
One of those, like,
Well,
and you're looking at it upside down, you're like falling off of the bridge,
Right.
and you're looking back at it. Then yeah.
Bungee jumping is huge.
I
in West-
had never seen anybody compare it to the Commanders before today, and it's kind of ruined my whole take on this logo. It's a C. I like the blue shade they've got going on. I appreciate the bridge connection, even if it doesn't entirely work. But yeah, it's like a weak C.
I gave it a C because the blue and the yellow and the fact that it's Westchester reminded me of the X-Men. So give me an X-Men variant. So and it will improve the logo, but I gave it a C.
With the the Westchester comment is
That's
yeah.
unreal.
Oh, that needs to be hung in the Louvre. That was amazing. So I have a Westchester connection like through my wife, so I want to be clear that I am really rooting for them to make it like the facility in Mount Vernon, all that stuff. All that being said, this crest is unfortunately like low effort and a D for me. I'm hoping that once they get their feet under them, they can invest in a little bit of a rebrand and do something pretty special. But for now, it's there. It exists, and maybe that's all that matters.
yeah, it's an F. There's nothing I like about it. I'm okay with the colors because it's my old fraternity colors. Otherwise, like, there's nothing about this that's appealing. It's the most generic font you could find. Like, they didn't even try with the font. It's like Times New Roman. Okay, let's go for it. Like, there's nothing special about that.
That font is definitely sans serif. So
Okay, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah,
no.
they didn't even get Comic Sans.
No,
man.
you're dead on, man. That's right. Yeah, sans serif.
Now, USL, for a future Jägermeister Cup, group all the teams by this logo tier list. All the good logos in one group, all the bad logos in their own group, and just see what happens.
And we do get out.
Long-awaited Miami to Spokane road trip.
Oh wow, you would have Fort Lauderdale to Monterey Bay, Miami to Spokane. What a good time.
Group of death. Yeah.
So this is our kind of final tier list. I'm going to run through it really fast. So in the S tier, we're going to start S. I'll go on down to F. In S, we have the Oakland Roots, Detroit City, El Paso, Locomotive, and Ford Madison. In A tier, we have Charleston Battery, FC Tulsa, Indy 11, Las Vegas Lights, One Knox, Portland Heart of Pine, Rhode Island FC, Tampa Bay Sun, and Union Omaha. In B tier, we have Brooklyn FC, the Carolina Ascent, Dallas Trinity, Birmingham Legion, Lexington SC, Louisville City, Loudoun United, Phoenix Rising, Pittsburgh Riverhounds, Richmond Kickers, Sacramento Republic, Tampa Bay Rowdies, and South Georgia Tormenta. In C, we have Charlotte Independence, Colorado Switchbacks, DC Powered, Greenville Triumph, Hartford Athletic, FC Naples, Texoma FC. In D, we have AV Alta, AVFC, Red Wolves, and then we have New Mexico United. We have North Carolina, Orange County. Oh my gosh, San Antonio, Spokane Zephyr, Westchester SC, and then F, we have Fort Lauderdale, the Miami FC, Monterey Bay FC, and Spokane Velocity. Oh my gosh. So is there any of these that you guys see in a tier that you want to fight to put somewhere else?
Westchester. Down.
Okay.
No. But they're like, there's a level of competence, and at least they tried to have a local connection, versus the bottom four are the most generic thing you've seen in your life. They could be a crest for any club anywhere.
In which, if that's going to be the case, AV Alta, possibly F then?
Yeah.
But like,
I like their colors better.
I don't know, man.
I mean,
think the color
that-
scheme is winning them credit.
The color elevates it to me, and
But the
AV
movie- yeah.
it can only be it can only be AV Alta. There's
And,
no
there's a competence to the way that's put together. Like, go down a peg and look at Fort Lauderdale United, which is there's no logic to that. That is just random lines.
The AV Alta logo looks like a summer camp or a national park.
That's true.
That's why I like it.
Can I ask a question?
I think we're settled.
I think
Can I
this feels right.
I need to ask a question. What does the AV? Is it Alta Valley?
Antelope Valley.
Antelope. Okay, thank you.
I was
Because
hoping
if it was going to be Alta Valley, Alta AV, I was going to lose my mind.
No,
The
it's just
Angels of Anaheim.
No, it's just Antelope Valley Alta, Antelope Valley FC.
Okay.
I'm getting a connection trying to listen to this.
Listen, we have been doing this for an hour and a half. That is the final kit. Wow. Crest decisions. If you don't like it, debate a wall or just tweet at us, skeet at us later. You will anyway. So I can't.
I'll never get used to that. I'll never get used to that.
I'm never using Skeet, man. Post at us.
So we're not even going to do USL thoughts because I just don't even have any more of them. So what are some final thoughts, Fox? This is your first time on this show. So to let you know, it's just kind of final thoughts you had for the night. If there's like anything on your mind, any kind of TV show you've been watching, any kind of music you've been watching, what movie you most watched recently, just to give you a little bit of time, Phil.
Me and
oh wait,
right. There's two
Phils.
But to give you time, no. So me and Erica have been watching the SNL 50 documentary stuff that is around the 50th anniversary, and there's a 2-hour long documentary about the music of SNL on Peacock right now that is amazing. Like, I would highly recommend it to any fan of music, let alone like Saturday Night Live. It is so good. And there are a lot of really, really interesting things in there about just the chaos of putting on live music. They do talk about the Ashley Simpson thing. So yeah, no, I highly recommend if you've got Peacock, which I know a lot of people who watch soccer have Peacock access. So yeah, all those documentaries on there are pretty solid.
All right, Mr. Fox.
If you're into murder docs, Netflix has one now. They have like 1 billion, but it's like literally called like The Worst X or My Worst X or something like that. And it's fantastic. It's well written. They have weird animations, like cartoon drawings to simulate what's going on. And that's interesting. But me and my wife enjoy murder. So I just don't like that she takes notes. But besides that, it's fine.
Ryan?
It's like, yeah, this idiot.
Yeah, I've been looking for a TV show recently to get into, and I guess on Hulu that Paradise has been somewhat of an interesting show. I don't want to spoil much of the show, but just give the first episode a watch, and it's a very interesting concept.
The first episode, you think the twist happens about midway through, and then the twist at the end is the most just bonkers thing imaginable. I don't know if anyone watched This Is Us. It's like the level of emotionality. It's the same creative team. So it's like that level of emotionality, but like an almost sci-fi twist. I'm having a ball watching it, even if I wouldn't necessarily say it's like good. Yeah, so Ryan stole my thing straight up, so I was going to say Paradise, so I'm just carrying on with that.
Okay, fair enough. Let's see. For me, I have a take on the Super Bowl halftime show that I just want to get out there. Some people think that's the best thing that's ever happened to the Super Bowl halftime show. Some people think it's the most despicable thing to ever happen to a Super Bowl halftime show. And I think the answer is
racists.
Yeah.
Yes.
The worst people really hated it.
The biggest sunglasses. Just
I think for me, it was fine. I think that's where I ended up because, and I think this is the thing, is that he took a different spin than a lot of people do, where they literally just play their hits, like only their hits. Like if it was a traditional halftime show, Mad City is what opens up the halftime show, right? But he went with his latest stuff, which is super unique for a halftime show, which does not usually lend itself well for people knowing the bangers. So I thought it was just fine. I thought it was fun. I thought it was creative. Far from the worst. I don't think it was necessarily the best either. It was just really good. I enjoyed it. But that's
I will make the argument that it was kind of a masterpiece. Like I think you've never seen somebody come up with the intentionality of the set list, the intentionality of the message he was trying to get across in terms of like having Samuel L. Jackson as this Uncle Sam character, kind of providing this ombudsman-like character of saying like, we're censoring you, you can't perform the ghetto hits. Like, so then he pivots over to the R&B, then kind of lacing in the Drake of it all. Like I thought it was so cleverly done in a way that Kendrick Lamar always kind of brings that level of incisive commentary to his music beyond your average musician. Like to do that on the Super Bowl stage, it was special to see, I thought.
But by the way, I do want just to throw this out there on the symbolism. There is the one thing that people have questions about. It's the only thing I can actually answer. Lowercase letters in music signify minor. He was wearing a lowercase a. He was just wearing an A minor necklace
the entire time. There's a giant flag going too, with a kid reaching up to a lowercase a. If you saw somebody running in the back with a giant A flag as well.
I think too, just like to add on to John's, like the writing that he did between, because he wrote interludes between songs that don't exist. Like he wrote stuff like for this show, which is pretty wild. And then from the beef perspective, not on the political side, but I've never seen a rap beef where the main diss track of the beef got played in the Super Bowl halftime show, and it just got done winning a boatload of Grammys as well. That's insane. Like just a different level.
Diss tracks just getting that many awards, but I mean that's what you get from a Pulitzer Prize winning.
That's the thing. Is it's just like
this is such a dumb comparison. It probably the most famous diss track since actually Sweet Home Alabama. Because Sweet Home
Alabama diss track?
Yeah, Neil Young. It was written to diss Neil Young.
So it is the most famous since Sweet Home Alabama. There's no way. Hit 'Em Up by Tupac.
I was gonna say like Ether. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, I mean, wider spread. I feel like because.
But I don't think anyone that's not you is thinking like, man, fuck Neil Young when they hear Sweet Home Alabama.
Just the whole time. He's like, yeah, what now Neil Young, you suck.
Like, they said his name. Like,
yes. Look, I'm just saying. I mean, I'm just saying what the intent.
Hey, fair. No, this is good knowledge to have. Yeah.
But I mean, to bring a man's ex onto a stage, to have her dance on diss track. Yeah.
SZA performed also, who is also a Drake ex. That's insane.
Yeah. Like the amount of hate. I just really hope I can grow up to be him one day.
135 million viewers. It was the most watched Super Bowl, not just halftime show, Super Bowl period. And seeing the Chiefs get dominated was also very fun.
Yeah, that's an interesting take for me being in St. Louis, because we are such a they either love the Chiefs or they hate the Chiefs, because people are like, oh, but they're so close now. They're like, no, we want our Rams back. But we have the Battlehawks, and that's the thing. Cacaw.
Lower league football.
Yeah, lower league football. Cacaw is the law.
Birmingham 2-time, am I right? Or 3 times, something like that. I don't keep up with it. But to end the show, and this is the final thing before, of course, we have Mr. Allen say goodbye at the end of the show. July 25th, Portland. We are coming to your city. We will see you there, Allen, for the first and final time of night. See ya.
Thank you for watching another episode of the USL Show.
The USL Show is now proudly part of the Protagonist podcast family. Please go to protagonistsoccer.com to check out more work. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see everyone again next time.